Asante Kotoko and Benap abo 1-1 ewa ha. Yanko na afi yanko din komo after the game. Asaribodu Michael wa o shake game ni na etiede na edin ko. Opanyi ya chamu akwa about the Episode Media. You watched the game. I saw you watching the game. Your general impressions and something about specifics.
I think that it was a keenly contested affair. Name was shit. Bernard came on board with a lot of intensity and then asserted a tempo for the encounter. In the first half, no was through. Kotoko came back stronger in the second half, and I believe so by virtue of a more technical team not having enough time to study how game looked in the first half. So we saw a much improved performance from Kotoko in the second half. It gave Kotoko a very good test before they depart Ghana for South Africa ahead of Omune Kaiser Chiefs game. So overall, I think it was a necessary exercise and it has been worth it.
Will you agree with fans now? Omo say Asante Kotoko A2 we were first team now. Clearly, is only the first team players. And attitude-wise, you could see, say, no for shame, Papa, because you have a trip to make outside of Ghana. Now, Bernard for also bought their full strength because they also want to impress.
Yeah.
Would you agree with supporters as a first team for them?
I think that they were surprised by how our Bernard see approach the game. Maybe in their minds, some of us say it's just a preseason training game, and ball with much intensity. But how our Bernard see set a tempo, no, a shocky kakra, and draw the necessary reaction from Kotoko players. And so I agree. Board the first set, board the Kotoko, now to me match the aggression and then the intensity of the Kotoko team. And I believe at halftime, the coaches in any players Nekasaya into the second set nearby you could see, particularly Henry Ansu. He was replicating every aggressive action from Bernard players. And I think that Omunya the benefit of the course who were first half and nobody two or more for almost be second set now. So I agree with anybody who shares that notion. Say first set for a nice which is also part of us because they nipa when a bit my opportunity be a we breakthrough. And it's end of a bonny giddy na okupra. It affects the chances of making the trip to South Africa. And Ni Nano will play on the minds of the players near there. Even in the second set, we will say there were instances they were trying to stay away from the aggression and the action. And but it was better than it was in the first.
Better than it was in the first half. Yanshe specifics. Lord Hilaria Double making a match awaited debut, even though it's not a game competitive, but or by no more any game.
Yeah.
You saw him, you watched him.
Yeah.
Your assessment of Adabo as a DM for Asante Kotoko.
I think overall his screening abilities was solid. He was able to sniff danger Bibebaha or share area and scanner. Then he was there. But the issue here, the telepathy, the understanding with the teammates, because as a DM too, I be orchestrator. And so we I was all mobile there. And most at times I no send a no, and then the teammates there no. I am a bra. And at times, also visibly no show or tuning say I saw or tre player be baby onjina or person my pass be and no cause some seconds delay which affects a senior game the next year. So I think the early days yet. From the little I saw of him, he has enough energy to give a solid defensive work. Or was the cano the coordination between midfield selection and I believe that the coaches will talk to him on one case here, say I feel waba and when you just a week with the team I was all more bonded, I was all more building rapport, I was all more yes I your money now off the pitch, now better translate on the field of play. But from what I saw, the early signs are positive. But there are two things. Oshe senior set could you be ball second half now. There's also also to bench he will be picking notes until obession why you but they are made by marking it as a fire off the ball work. A jumo a bra ball no any ho. And then I'm the marking and I think he was excellent at screening. He put in the tackles. The only issue, when he wins the ball, recycling play no, I hold an issue kakra. So it was a good outing.
Yanshe new players Yeah, new players. So me who a branch of the team at the Johnson upon. It is the first time I've watched him in a match. My behind training will show flashes of brilliance. Your assessment of Johnson upon a new winger for Kotoko.
Opon is a speedster, and I think he offers something quite different from the Saka Debemau. Ono is similar to Amidu because of his speed and how he makes his runs. Then again, Obebo na kuya, it depends on the supply, the service obenya, especially Omo mube feed, over the wide areas near there. One thing I know is say or the eye for also taking very good shots from training grounds. He's a good player, potential. But one thing I'm looking forward to near training is different, training match is different, and a real game scenario. And to match, I want to see how he applies the what demonstrate to how he applies it in a real game scenario. There is a lot more room for improvement, but on the evidence of the YNA, I think it's averagely okay, but he can get better.
He can get better. That is Johnson upon can get better. Now, there's one controversial thing I want to ask you. You President's Cup coach at the Patrick Asiedu, one of the best players of Kotoko last season, and probably the best left back in the Ghana Premier League last season,
Yeah.
would deploy no our attacking position. Me frequent to happen, over trainer or bono. Today he came in the second half and started him from that position. As he was not working, so he had to push him to the
Left
defense. At the moment of call left back, you could see stability, and then he started playing game.
Yeah.
This is something that supporters now bro started as winger. I don't know. Your opinion on this controversial matter?
You see, at times I don't know, coaches are more taking certain strange decisions, but the results, the outcome in the chess, it was right or it wasn't. On the evidence of the year when it I imagine Mokesine Kakra, the entire coach, the person or used to play our wing. So and yet the first time Zito has tried something like this. So yeah, prior to Kotoko against Dreams or Bosambo Neil, our trainings are DM not the Kobo game the fire. Then he became a regular thing until he was badly exposed during the FA Cup final against Golden Cake. And Yemubiani was stadium, like I said, today should be the last day Zito be try somebody with defensive midfield. Then this season, so the early signs were starting with Patrick Asiedu. Clearly, you could see say player and behavior to say fish or dance you my in the free so me then better perform. Onya comfortable. Exactly. So naturally he fit as at the left back. So what person we use no more offensively. Ni na tactics near there. I don't believe. So all season the position no and never bring the best out of him offensively. He can even play as a left back, but still give you good numbers in terms of offensive contributions.
Left back, no.
Exactly.
Last season, what team no or 4 assists.
Exactly.
Even the offensive midfielders no, 4 assists.
So, offensive metrics at the pager player now. You seem still as a left back. How you shape the team or you set up the team defense, So no bet me anymore, but the natural fit, as the left back and the AC I think that the President's Cup the NBC it should convince Zito and the rest of the technical team say experiment no more person it has failed so far and maybe and train serious matches and serious competitions in money and quiet near who say a mistake and Sunny Ababesisa. The early signs are that it won't work. Asiedu as a left back is solid. He gives you defensive contributions and then offensively Obesanso Kwenim our numbers. Now who you see no as a winger, it limits the defensive contributions of Betimidia, and I think he's a very good defender. Aside your Kwenim or speed or teammate train or air crossing, no, he's also a solid defender. Actually, man is Sansadi and frame. So to me, maybe Ezito and Kamadre will be made up. Say, I will not experiment with the Asiedu again. And I think where should get to Coach Karim Zito said that experiment should end from over. Today.
Right. Watch a team, no? In a game, because because they've given them a game where you're very, very intense.
Exactly.
Supporters maybe kept saying creativity. You think Kotoko still needs a creative midfielder or multi-man?
Now I think I saw that in Amo. in the second set, what I see in Amono, he gives me Richmond Lamptey vibes, but he works harder. Was a Lamptey, no, more of on the ball contributions, ball nikitana and a passing distribution, and in the creative abilities. I was true, but Amono Bayer saw the amount. Then he will also give you off the ball work. So he was pressing, pushing, eager to win the ball. So the creative aspect, in the second set, I saw it more in Philip Amo, and I think that early days here today, but it is encouraging enough to pick such signals from the player. That aside, I think the other players can get better. Obidi said Saka Dauda. Anyhow, I saw him play. The only time I saw him being creatively involved in Kotoko play, yes, I ran Bino here on the left. Unfortunately, prior or the free, I think the other players can contribute and help. And then again, Seth Kojo, there was one instance via Oka pass between Sademamo, a beautiful pass. I think that a normal Kotoko variety in terms of Mfimfio, Adabo will give you off the ball work, and Kojo will give you more of on the ball work. He is creative, how he is able to split open defenses with just a single pass. Ebeba, once a team, new players, they will need to settle, and then they will need to adapt, understand each other, and then operate. But from end the game, I saw some creative sparks from Philip Amo, Seth Kojo, especially from the second set, and I think it was very, very positive. But it needs to get better because after winning the FA Cup, the challenge also grows. Obebo Confederation, you will need to defend the cup, and then you will need to challenge for the Premier League. You will need to create more and then score more. And that is why I think that there needs to be a rapid improvement in how Kotoko are able to create on the field of play. I was saying your master Sankakra.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that's
right. I know Mike, sorry, Bodru and Akomia Messiah, and so Yanana and Trosso in free. Akomia, nice game. But now, but any time they play Kotoko with that intensity, you watch the game, especially in the second half. Your general assessment as an IO specific.
Because I think before Kotoko leaves for South Africa, we had test Bapalo here. Obibeka said plan no but they needed this intensity. Thinking plan more a level of competition and more a level of intensity. I'm only hoping said the likes of Emmanuel Entry and Obiti says Saka that they are okay. When you say injury scare Kakraba, but I'm hoping said these players will be fine and join Kotoko on the South Africa tour. Now making me up a game against Kaiser Chiefs will be back. I'm happy. This is the test they needed. When I say through then they had also. Once we training now, I'm going to carry now when your competition this year, one a travel baby our team weaknesses war. Number two, a show players are moving out the correct balance are we here. Things I'm a and check players being at the Libya. If Kotoko wants to get a proper balance or more partners and for a bit more money, it be so a Duma was somewhere. It's in a free adaptation period. New players have they will need to adapt. And they also be looking calm 10 times so no and that's one position now.
Talking about new players, Hilary Adabo playing as a number 6. Last season, out of 34 league games, about 33. And for a player, DM, not boss a number of games. It tells you, you saw him. You saw Seth Kojo bringing some different dynamics to the same position as number 6. Your assessment of those two players?
I think so going forward, I want to see because by in the last 10 minutes to 5 minutes, boy, but one shut down will be
Seth Kojo
but Emmanuel Entry. I want to see them play more because Seth Kojo, who is more box to box.
Sure, then about 8
now, box to box. Hilary Adabu so sitting more. Hilary Adabu a proper number 6 because they realizing and say anytime Kotoko is in possession or dropping the center backs, no money be third center back. Let the NA say obeje ball, no movie ball, no asa begin position, no asa destroy. Set to super ball. If I want to see set Emmanuel Entry and Hilary Adabu in a midfield 3. And see some even with the 4-4-2, I want to see set for you and Hilary Adabu where Hilary best set. Then set will be the box to box. And let's see because set so or drives me on my MFA as an 8. Who can such players in and around the penalty box in the cheap? And that's when we have boss crashes. When you the boss crashes. For example, Enzo Fernandez must start on you. When you want a ball, penalty yard matches, I had to Kuna tied that one. And then some more tacky be requires zoom. who trainee set Kojo Honor. I think he's going to be a perfect fit for that role.
Is Elvis Chapman for becoming a training player, friendly matches because Oba, woman as a different player.
Yes.
Maybe I'm say, then man back can say this is not the first time friendly match. What's the problem when he plays in competitive games and when he plays in
Boss,
the
you know,
friendly
we share the
matches?
same sentiment. I don't know. I have to ask him. Okay, I'm not saying your man, me say psychological problems. Training match, he feels comfortable. In a match day, he feels expectations on his shoulders. And I'm be brave, bronze. And I think Kotoko no person will be a match who you change training. Also, you know, match day games. And since I know any more honor. So I'll tell you, my donzo, most so versus our positions, and as I'm guessing about. Next as I'm guessing, pa, anaba. But baby, you share how I want to be translated this. I want to see preseason after preseason and see. Me every player the benefit of the doubt this season. Me who is a player be aba of first season maybe more than kakra. But which start season person who be kakra. I want to see something.
Now, Mami Musa, watch a game. No? In terms of creativity, what Kotoko need another creative player, and I say they have enough. In the first half, no, one shot more. Now, and I fit to keep control.
But remember one of crazy. Kotoko here creative player.
Okay.
Kotoko here a creative 10, not a dribbling 10.
Okay.
I say what dribbling 10 in one no be show booty.
Your dribble
and that chance make him. Oh, is a decision maker. Kotoko needs a creative 10. For example,
the
benchmark. And I'm the benchmark should be Lamptey.
Okay. Okay, Richmond
Lamptey, the benchmark in terms of Nipani creativity levels. We saw Lamptey in Bukwala.
Just one pass and then was playing defense open.
Boko teams are needs a creative 10. And I don't think Emmanuel Lamptey is cut for it.
Okay.
I don't think Baba Yaya is cut for it. I'm not saying they are not good players, but for that specific role, they are not cut for it.
Central midfield.
They play so well. Baba 8.
Number 8.
And Philip Philip Amusu are good, but Philip Amobe here competition, over here adaptation period. Kakra.
Okay.
Or need someone now, cookie more the attackers. Because Abetamwa, Kwame Poku. These people be much stretchy pitch in the amount. Should they wear Patrick Asiedu will be a pitching?
Yeah.
Should they wear the likes of Shaibu will be a pitching Lord Amwa? You need to be to say Lamptey or done in any other person.
One pass.
Or done in any other person. If Kotoko are not getting some in the market, then I believe that Kotoko should stick with the midfield 3 asset Kodo. A womb, a bear said you man. Because who Bakum Libya or Jim one and the 3
pass now change direction of place.
Was a son simple.
What about Patrick Asiedu? Mami Musa. Yeah, the Taba training. And I'll be on and say Patrick Asiedu, coach, operating as wing forward. We saw it with the President's Cup where he was woeful and the coach had to pull him out in the first half. And the second half was as here as a wing forward. And now you know, and the core, the number 3 on the typical left back. We saw the Patrick Asiedu, you know, and at wing forward position, we're in creative chances, but we could last season. Or you more assist some of the advanced midfielders in the league.
Yes.
You think that that's a controversial issue? Coach, you know, and stick a boy into the position because we're one of the very best in that position.
I am the coach in the off season.
Okay.
I am the Harry no yellow. Because during the season, I say Kotoko for that. Some now you do mistakes. You work on it. But I think so no coach in Ankasa will realize it, baby. Patrick Asiedu your winger. He will realize it. If he's going with a 3-back system, we'll be to use him as a wing back. Quality no attacking. But in a 4-back system, I believe Patrick Asiedu is better off. He's the best Kotoko left back. Currently, players no more on the best left back. So I think that is the position he needs to stick into. Mr. Reno, I don't remember where off season. Test for baby, Yaman Hoka, with the on your experiment to be a baby. But when the season begins, you don't want to see things that were not working for him during off season. But yen to me, you should say you're maybe working off season. Now, you have started crucial season
proper.
Now, there be. But the supporters will accept it.
Finally, Asante call South Africa. How important is that particular trip in the game to the team? Oberum about conversations.
And your man, one, the global exposure. 2, the branding of the club and the exposure of the players, to the foreign market going into Africa. And I think, thirdly, it positions Kotoko also well, especially when it comes to the economic factors of clubs and so basically your sponsorships in this annual man. But the moment you travel to South Africa, you meet brands, you meet companies. So one is hey, every say Kotoko de yedu. You fan ko jiska, yedu. You fan ko bata because all ko kaiser. Who you be now guni jesi any man now guni jesi nchen or don't go.
Yeah.
But only why a hard dream. Sana sisi issue ni nyina tie. Any problem. And I think the players should be almost to the foreign matches on the ball with other confederations captains on this issue. And more movement stadium na kakrakani supporters. This will test them. Because me can say me dem akọ Samba a younger bako. Mo ye tiam Jonathan so e body this and na kubetu. Jonathan so obomo put this and that crowd no day. So they will adapt to all of these things. And I think say it also gives Kotoko as a club the exposure once again because it's die.
Sure.
Sure.